Hey guys, and welcome back to Call of Cthulhu. Where we last left off, we escaped the crazy insane asylum that we were held at. Have no idea like how we got there and what happened, but apparently we're not dead, and the officer isn't dead either, and this lovely lady helped us escape. So yeah.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Weird.
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
Well, you were dead.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was.
You
I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Okay.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
True.
He's right. We can't ignore the truth.
I mean, we can't.
But it could drive her mad.
Better madness than ignorance. Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Jesus. I'm scared. Why did it say that I changed my fate just by doing one thing? Like, I still can't level up anything that has to do with the occults. Does it just level up by itself? Yes, I would like to save that. Insanity. The weirdness of Francis Sanders' death went far beyond anything Pierce had ever seen. Lifted off his feet by an invisible force, the poor man's body was carried into the air before being thrown violently against the bars of his hiding place. Pierce, powerless, watched the limbs break and Sanders' body crumble to the ground. During long moments of agony, the detective saw nothing that could explain this event. Weakened by his wounds and the operations he could remember undergoing, Pierce began to question his ability to tell the difference between reality and the nightmares that haunt him. Deceased. He's an art dealer. Francis Sanders knew Sarah Hawkins so well that he accused her of being the source of his suffering. The man gouged his eyes out with his own hands, and smeared the walls of his cell with esoteric symbols. He seemed to be obsessed with a Shambler linked to Sarah Hawkins. He died before my eyes in circumstances that I cannot explain. He looks like something off Silent Hill. Riverside senior physician. Ugh. Dr. Fuller resigns as the undisputed master of the Riverside Institute and of its cellars, in which he carries out illegal experiments on his patients. I don't know what he has done to me, but I shouldn't be back on my feet so soon after my fall when the tunnels under the Hawkins mansion caved in. This man is dangerous, and I'd swear that he knows more about all the business than he's willing to tell. Is there anything else? Dark water, places. Ugh, strictly speaking, I didn't spend much time in the hospital. When I woke up, I was immediately transferred into the cellars of the Institute, a sort of clandestine asylum where Dr. Fuller carried out his experiments on patients without being troubled. Unknown machines set beside anatomical drawings that are disturbing, to say the least. I just managed to escape from this place. I might not have as much luck next time. I still have my lantern.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
So all of us are going?
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Right. Same. So how the shite do I get out of here? Through this door? I don't like that we're using this place. Ew, that's creepy. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley decide to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trial to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about the Shambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died. I think it's better to say the truth and tell him what actually happened, rather than just being like, oh, well, you know, that didn't happen. I'd rather tell the truth than to, you know, have somebody. I'd rather somebody tell me what really happened than beat around the bush and lie to me.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may.
She looks mean.
However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here.
I like her hair. Pretty color.
You know each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
Yeah.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
I don't like this.
May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings.
Interesting.
Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
So ask Fuller, he's the eminent doctor. But I would caution you, you'll find his treatments more terrifying than the illnesses he sets out to cure.
That churl no longer takes the trouble to receive me. He sends his secretary to tell me that I cannot see Francis. Me. His own widow. He must think that I am a terrible wife for having abandoned him in such a way. But I only wanted what was best for him.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
How did you come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years. They adorn his macabre gallery.
Interesting.
May I ask you what Miss Baker is doing here? How do you know her?
My business with Miss Baker is private, Mr. Pierce.
But you do know what kind of business Miss Baker is in, don't you?
I am no fool. Please believe that much, at least.
I deduce that your husband already mentioned this dimensional Shambler.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
She
Hold
doesn't
on.
seem too sad.
The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
I do.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it, I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I count on ridding myself of that thing as soon as I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Well, let me look at her thing. Okay, there she is. Okay, let me see what she has to say. It's good that she holds Sarah Hawkins reasonable for the death of her husband, responsible, Jesus, for the death of her husband. But what I don't understand about Irene Sanders is the mix of sadness and insensitivity. Looks like she had given up on her husband long before his horrid death in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. That's what I was thinking too. Good lord, guys. I'm afraid. What? Knowledge. Okay, cool. That's what I found in this thing. Oh, lord. That's the bar owner's mess. This heavy tome, the first in a series of 3 volumes, is the bedside book of every experienced practitioner. It contains all the recent advances in modern medicine. It is frequently found in the libraries of major medical universities. It is surprising to discover a copy in such an isolated place as Darkwater. Making sure I'm still recording. Yeah, she does seem pretty insensitive.
Did she really care for him after all?
I acknowledge receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I'm sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. At the moment of his internment, you signed a discharge allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you, Thomas Fuller.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Ew, God. He looks happy. A photo of Sarah Hawkins next to the Sanders. They must be close. God, I don't like it when this stuff happens.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
I feel like they were, but I feel like what's-her-name was mad about that.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
She didn't want to. She didn't want to.
A house of artists.
I mean, she was obviously afraid of something.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom?
He probably was. She looks mad.
Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
Probably. I mean, she looks like
She didn't want Sanders to have the painting. She must have felt devastated.
Probably because it was going to kill them.
Ah!
The Shambler. I need to see it.
I need to see it. So I just go through your house and find this gallery? Is that what you're saying I should do? Yeah, that's... I mean, I like the house. It's nice.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
What? An audio recording with Francis Sander left for his wife Irene. Phonograph. What's in here? Door's locked. Okay, cool. Sup, bitch? Your hair's short. I thought you had longer hair than that. Key to Sanders' gallery.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
Weird. His wife expresses her worries about the strange dreams that the Reverend's congregation are having since their arrival on this island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared that they will suffer the same fate as the lost child. Yeah, I can see that happening. Definitely see that.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Dear Francis, I beg you to give up all hope of ever owning this accursed painting. If our friendship has any meaning for you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the Shambler. So it was cursed. For sure. Can I not? Okay, so does that.
I could use one of those.
No. No. The Whale and the Cod. The Whale and the Cod, or A Brief History of Dark Water. Is this a real place?
A strange Amerindian pendant.
It's pretty though. Progression on the oculate stuff. This is aggravating. Oh god. Cross-checking the information given by Francis Sanders and his widow, it is possible to reconstruct the events that led to the internment of Sanders. Everything points to Sanders and Sarah Hawkins being close linked, at least by the interest the collector showed in the artist's work, but more probably by a certain friendship, attested to by the repeated refusals of Sarah Hawkins to sell the painting called the Shambler. Against all expectations, she finally gave it away for free. The feelings still shown by Irene Sanders towards Sarah Hawkins are evidently derived from what she considers to be the artist's responsibility. Madness struck Sanders a short while after he gained possession of this painting. Yeah, paintings can hold stuff, man. Like, there's a lot of stuff you can do with paintings. What? I don't know what it says. I just changed. This will affect your destiny because I read the book. It is a kind of encyclopedia of monsters and unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe that they exist. I didn't know what this was. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the heck, man? Pierce read an ancient treatise, the Malus Bestiarium? I don't know. Beastie. I think that's. I don't know what that's called. Makes an inventory of numerous creatures from the oculate world or parallel dimensions. The very nature of its knowledge makes it an unholy book. By reading it, Pierce lost some of his sanity. The ordeals you have gone through have left their mark, but you still manage as best as you can. Keep your mind busy in order to chase away doubts and painful memories. You still have some way to go. Who knows when your mind could lead you along the paths of insanity. Okay, well that's a thing that I'm not ready to... Okay, awesome. Oh, nice! Nice, that's what he looks like? The dimensional Shambler comes from a dark and inhospitable dimension, where the rarity of food sources keeps it in a state of permanent starvation. This is why it is in a constant state of readiness to travel to other dimensions in order to feed on its inhabitants. Make sure you never weaken the veils of your dimension, otherwise you risk attracting this very dangerous creature. Should this happen to you, you just have to lay eyes upon it for its being to anchor itself in your dimension and to allow it to rip you open with its claws. Nice. Okay. Can I talk to you?
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others.
You flirting with
What have
me?
you come looking for in this gallery?
I don't know.
Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. One connected to the horrors I've discovered on this island.
What a surprise. I'm listening.
There's more than that, Miss Baker.
So people have been talking behind my back. I was almost beginning to like you, Mr. Pierce. But it stays cat for you.
You knew the Sanders?
Irene is a friend of mine.
Huh.
And you? What brings you to the
Probably
Sanders home?
condolences. She's
I'm
probably-
here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network, and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
What the hell? I'm not done talking
Not
to you.
now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder.
Okay, bye, bitch. I'll just be in here. If I scream. I don't like that. I don't like that.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
It's freaking weird, man. Who has all this stuff in their house? Like, That's all you're gonna say? That's cool. That's pretty dope, man. Painting. That's cool. Heck, okay. Oh, I see it. I see it. I see it. I saw it. I'm scared. Shit, okay. I'll come to that last. I'm just gonna want to look around a little bit.
Why was he so interested in old weapons?
I don't know, man. I feel like this is where I'm gonna have to fight a Shambler. Yeah, there's a thing right there. What's that? More oil for my lantern. Kinda like that.
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
It's kind of cool. The simple fact that I'm a weirdo and I like this kind of stuff. Oh, this is not gonna be good. I have a feeling the Shambler's gonna come to life and I'm gonna have to run for my damn life. God. Hi, I really don't want to touch you. God dang it, I'm gonna touch you. He's gonna come out of that painting, dude. He's gonna come out of that painting, dude. He's gonna come out of that painting, dude. Just wait for it. Yep. Turn around, turn around, turn around. I have to. That looks like a butthole monster from Silent Hill. Doesn't have eyes, so it can't see you, but I'm sure it can hear you.
What the hell was that?
I didn't mean to! Oh my god, there's no closet for me to hide in. Oh, where was it? Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. I hate this, 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 I hate this. What am I supposed to do? What the hell am I supposed to do? Try to go for the door? Okay, so like, let's be rational about this. Let's try to go for the door first.
I can't even touch it.
Okay, it's kind of messed up because it doesn't have a face, so it can't see me, it can't hear me, so I'm basically just running around from something that's like nothing. Jesus Christ, dude. What do I need to do? What do I do? What do I do?
Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
For what? The painting? It's not that one.
Damn it!
Okay, so it's not that one. It's not that one. How did it see me? That's a little. Okay. Jesus Christ. Can't run very fast. Cannot. I just want him to music is just like so crazy. Just exactly what I need to do, and I know exactly where I need to go. Okay. So he's gonna...
What the hell was that?
He's over in that corner again still, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you're over there. You're coming over here, though. I need for you... It's over here. The knife that I need to get is in the furthermost corner of the room over here, so I'm just gonna freaking go for it, man. It glows green. It glows green. It's got an oculate symbol on it. It's got eyes on it. Is this it?
Damn. This dagger looks different.
Oh god! Oh, suck it, suck it. Bye! No, 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 no! No, no, no! Ooh. What? What?
What's the matter with you?
What? What? Hi. Hello?
You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Sanders was right. This painting is cursed.
What are you talking about?
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
You knew. You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
The creature, this dagger, was the only weapon capable of pushing it back. If Hawkins was trying to get rid of this Shambler, she might have made contact with Drake. This antique dealer has a good knowledge of the occult. I have nothing to lose by meeting him.
You've got your spunk back. Go where you want. I'm staying here to talk business with Irene.
Okay, thanks. Don't care. Interesting. Okay, the nameless bookstore. The Shambler turned out to be much more than an artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins. As a huge creature came out of the painting to attack Pierce, after a hard fight, the detective managed to send it back into the painting. He later discovered that the dagger he used to repel the creature had been sold to Sanders by a man named Algernon Drake, owner of the nameless bookstore. Pierce decided to pay the library a visit. Algernon Drake, why does that sound familiar? What?
Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams. It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century. Where's the bookseller?
Probably somewhere.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
The pastor declared himself to be the prophet. He renounced God and worshipped a strange pagan entity with a monstrous appearance. His wife tried to reason with her husband, but in vain. He was convinced that he must listen to this voice in his head because it holds the truth. Okay. Darkwater history. 19th century, as the American whaling industry reached its peak in the rest of the world, whales gradually disappeared from the water surrounding Darkwater. This phenomenon appears even more mysterious because up until then, the region was a favored refuge for citizens. I think that's like some type of word for whale. In 1847, after months of pursuit, the Scylla returns to port with a gigantic creature on board. Its crew asserts that the sea monster had eaten all the disappeared whales. After a night of ferocious combat, the survivors managed to drag the beast onto the whale ship. I feel like it's probably something that's not good. Can I? Yeah, thank you, because I needed oil.
What happened here?
Is he dead?
Let's start over. Where did they break in from? Blood. Seems like amateur work.
Right. Open the door, obviously.
To whom does this footprint belong? This burglar seems to be rather clumsy.
Interesting. So it's only along in here. Interesting. Okay. What else happened?
What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene? What killed all these animals? What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work?
This. What?
What the? Charles Hawkins? Looks like the symbol rejected Hawkins. Where did I see it? What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess?
Oh my god.
Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe.
Yeah?
Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case.
Okay. What the hell did I just experience? What? I got a new skill thing? Cool. I got 2 things. God, no. Famous bookstore. Yeah, that's weird. Oh god, what's happening to my sanity, man? God. Jeez, I'm gonna like die by the end of this. His gallery messed me up. Pierce finally managed to... Yeah, still under the influence of the character, he almost stabbed his own hand. Or creature, he almost stabbed his own hand. Famous bookstore's burglar came through the door a bit further Some knocked over objects allow the trail to be followed into the back room. There, the mess next to the safe confirms the person's aim. However, there is no material evidence to support my hunch as to the identity of the burglar. Charles Hawkins did indeed appear to me, as well as the star symbol on the door of the safe. I cannot determine if the presence of Sarah Hawkins in my projections is the result of the unconscious work of my mind, or whether it proves that the case obsesses me. Okay, go down. Thank you. It's not going down. Weird Book of the Beasts. I already looked at all these. Yeah, I looked at all of those. Can I open this? I don't know what it would be. What would the thing be?
Drake left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
If someone finds these memoirs, there will be no doubt that I am in serious trouble. My last and only hope is that my body and bones are still in this plane of reality in order that they be recovered and burned. The funeral urn must be given to my dear mother if she still is of this world. Whoever reads these lines and demonstrates acuity as sharp as mine can hope to gain access to my most precious possession. It lies within my safe, and the clues to the combination are to be found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Each cylinder is numbered, even if, as the celebrated author says, order is the pleasure of blah blah blah. I don't care. Despite my preference for organized chaos, I must admit that reason usually prevails in the end. If by chance a person, or should I say a genius, was to match my intellect and find the combination of the safe, I would ask that they deliver its contents into the safekeeping of my friend and colleague, Professor Armitage of Armitage? Whatever. Okay, I hope that you will be able to appreciate the danger that this represents, and that we will act accordingly. In any event, I will neither be there to guide you nor to stop you from your actions. Okay, there's no number on it. At least that can be said about this book, because the title is well conveyed.
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills?
I think you're just going crazy.
What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
Oh god. This key that bears the Elder sign is the only one able to protect your psyche. It is in the form of a cylindrical medallion hanging at the end of a heavy chain. Hundreds of years ago, checking to make sure I'm still recording. Hundreds of years ago, the star and the branch, whose purpose is to push back the forces of the great old ones, were engraved at its center. Everything points to it being Charles Hawkins that tore it from its last owner, an Egyptian antique dealer. In press cuttings that mentioned the misdemeanor, the date of the robbery coincides with the last of the Hawkins trips to Serio. It remains to be seen whether he knows of the true purpose of the artifact. Try to find it. Okay, so where do I need to go to find these stupid books? I hear you whispering. Okay, so he was stumbling because he wanted to...
Arkham editions. Never heard of him.
Collection of essays on American folklore and urban legend.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
2.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
I get that. I understand. 2? What?
Arkham Editions.
2.
Never heard of him.
There's so
How many volumes are there in this collection?
Okay.
Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions.
Oh my god, shut up.
Never heard of him.
You're really making me mad right now, dude.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
Okay, what? Okay, there's that one. That one. They're all different volumes, though.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Shut up, please, for the love of God. I know that's the code, but Jesus Christ. Shut the hell up.
Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
It's so annoying. Won't stop talking. What's this? Water history, already read that. I know those are the codes.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
This is weird.
Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham Editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Interesting. Okay, so I picked up the oil. Was it okay? There's 9, 3 something. What is it? Okay, hang on. Let me go back. I'm gonna see if I can figure this out real fast. So I looked around, I looked on the chessboard, and there are some.
The Queen has little protection.
Okay. So I'm picking up 539. I think is what the book said to me. I don't know. I'm stupid. I don't want to open this though. Okay. Oh my God! Don't touch it. Good Lord. Why are you reading that? It's the occult stuff, dude. That's a problem. That's a big problem. Shut the book. Shut the book. Oh my God. I don't want to be back here. The news bookstore Pierce traced the trail of an attempted burglary who discovered that Charles Hawkins was behind the attempt. Pierce opened the bookseller's safe to find what the latter and Sarah Hawkins had hid in there. A book covered in human skin lied inside. Irresistibly attracted the detective. When he opened it, his mind was projected into another body. If I have to escape this prison again, I'm gonna throw a bitch fit. Because I'm not about that again. I've been through enough.
Dr. Colden, this man's condition is deteriorating.
What says Dr. Fuller? It's his patient, after all.
What?
He's busy with Captain Fitzroy. He specifically asked us not to bother him when that's the case.
Oh, of course. I'll see what I can do. Mr. Blake, can you hear me? I'm Dr. Colden. We'll take care of you.
There's nothing we can do. I tried talking to him. He's catatonic.
Did you inject him with a tranquilizer?
No, Doctor. Not me, not anyone. Our stock is empty, yet again.
Again? But there was enough for the whole island.
More and more people are suffering from insomnia. We can't refuse to help.
Of course.
Any idea what this man might be undergoing?
Very well. I'll examine him.
I don't understand what's going on.
30-year-old subject. Severe hypothermia. Erythematous papules around the eyes and eardrums. Necrosed palpebral tissue. Lord, this smell.
And
His skin shows abnormal loss of color and seems dried out. He's totally dehydrated.
then why don't you put him on
His
the IV
fingertips
drip?
and toes seem to feature a slight ring under the skin. Tender at the touch. Slightly sticky.
Turning into an octopus?
Severe malnutrition. Swollen abdomen with traces of petechia. Doesn't seem like an edema. Slight protuberances seem to indicate the presence of a foreign body.
So there's something
So,
in it.
Doctor, an opinion?
I'm not sure I have the necessary knowledge to treat this man.
Don't say that. You're our most worthy doctor after Dr. Fuller.
Some of his symptoms are beyond my comprehension.
What did you find?
Did you examine his abdomen? It would seem there's something inside.
He hasn't eaten in days. Are you certain it's not an edema?
No. Can't you recognize an edema? Pushing with your finger won't leave a trace. And look at these bumps.
It's not like he could be pregnant.
Whatever it is, this man has something inside him that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
We should operate on him at once.
Yeah, you
Dr.
should.
Fuller said not to worry, that the edema would go away by itself.
It's
You know-
not.
I'm not sure Dr. Fuller is telling the truth. In spite of the muscle contractions, his arms seem limp.
Yeah?
Yes. They can't have decalcified, not at this rate.
Right?
And yet, if there is a bone in this arm, it's
Right.
softer than that of a newborn baby. What about his cranium?
It's soft at the touch. It does seem like the skull of a baby.
Look at these sticky rings growing at his fingertips. What can be happening?
I'm sure you'll find an explanation. You have to.
I see signs of hypodermoclysis, but he's still dehydrated. When was his last
That's
IV?
what I was asking.
He's constantly under perfusion. I've even gone beyond the recommended dose to no avail. And you won't believe me, but when we bathed him earlier,
He seemed to feel better?
yes, like he needs an aquarium, not a perfusion. But that doesn't explain his condition.
I almost don't believe it myself, but these symptoms are not
He's
those usually
mutating.
associated with the human species.
What do you mean? Don't tell me you believe in extraterrestrials.
No,
No, I believe...
this poor man is from our world, all right. But his body is undergoing
That's
unnatural
what I'm saying.
mutations.
Yeah, I'm thinking
And
that's
this
the thing.
transformation is killing him. His body simply can't cope.
Where could he have gotten such an infection?
I pray that it's not here.
It probably
Dr.
is.
Colden, may I know what you're doing to my patient?
What I'm doing? How about what you've done to him?
Let us calm down, my dear Marie. I don't appreciate your tone, nor your insinuations. I've done to him what I do to all my patients, provide him with the best available care.
Your imagination is without limit. It's your homemade drug again, is it not? Those people are not your guinea pigs.
There, there. What have you seen to put you in such a state?
I've seen suction cups on his fingers, his falling body temperature, his dehydration. Had I only read the report, you know what I would have concluded, Doctor.
Do I? Tell me anyway. I'm curious.
He's no longer human. These are the attributes of an animal.
Fascinating. An animal, you say? Could you be more precise? Cephalopod, perhaps?
This amuses you.
Your reaction does. I know your thirst for knowledge, Doctor. It's your innocent worries for this man that have you overreacting.
For this man, and the others whose medical files you've been hiding.
I have to protect my discovery. These people owe me their life, but the world isn't ready yet. It will be, in time.
I will not let you do this.
You disappoint me, Marie, but I still have hope you'll one day share my point of view. In the meantime, take care of your own patients and try not to forget who you're dealing with.
Was that a threat? What did he mean?
It was a warning.
It's a threat.
Dr. Fuller is this institution's founder and one of our profession's most influential voices. My word is of no weight against his. If I continue to protest, I will only ruin my reputation and career.
It's scandalous. Can't we do anything? Is there no evidence of his crimes?
Oh, that evidence exists. I'm sure of it. I need to find the missing medical files.
And where would you find those? In his office? What if you get caught?
I'd rather not think about that. I'm counting on your discretion.
Of course, Doctor. You can count on me. I'll keep Mum.
No, you're pulling my leg. I'm not joking. I saw the schedule. She's alone in the bathroom again. And she still says nothing to that old witch, Donovan?
Oh, listen to the way you talk, you naughty girl.
Let's hope I can go through the administration office.
Administration office?
It's a real show.
This man, Edward Pierce, his file is incomplete. What did Fuller do to him?
That's me. What did you do to me, piece of trash?
Dr. Colden, we need you at once in Dormitory B.
What is the problem?
Mr. Evans seems to be having trouble with his IV.
I'll see to it right away.
And the family of Mrs. Harding is asking to see her medical file.
I'll never understand why it's so hard to see patients' files around here.
Right.
Rules are rules. See, with Dr. Fuller, he's in charge. Anyhow, they're still waiting, and I don't think they'll leave until they get what they want.
Okay.
Understood. Anything else?
As a matter of fact, yes. A man has been brought up from the basement.
Oh. What state is he in now?
You should go see for yourself, Doctor.
Oh, God.
Dr. Fuller always keeps his key with him. The key to the boiler room is missing.
I don't know what it is that I need to do. I need to get the key from him? Get out of my way, dude.
Dr. Colden.
Okay, so how do I get through here? Okay, I gotta go through the administration's office.
The answers must be hidden in Fuller's office.
Okay,
Everybody says that. She's a witch, an old hag. I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays. What a pest.
Elizabeth? You all right? Why is this room in such a state?
Because, as always, I'm cleaning it by myself. And the water was once again shut off this morning. I had to bother Mrs. Donovan again, giving her a new excuse to belittle me.
Come now. Don't let that witch sap your morale. We're lacking in qualified personnel and she knows it. Her petty punishments won't last forever.
I don't... Okay.
I'm trying, Doctor. I'm trying. It's just that sometimes I imagine she shuts down the water herself, just for the pleasure of harassing me.
Probably.
Her time is much too precious for these kind of petty games.
Anyway, I've learned my lesson. I'll hold my tongue next time.
Courage, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Doctor.
Can I go? Can I go? I need to get into Fuller's office, but I don't know how. I gotta go through the
Everybody
administration
says
office.
it. She's a witch, an old hag. I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays.
Wait a minute. Where do you think you're going?
Up your ass and to
Dr.
the
Colden.
left.
Mrs. Donovan.
Nobody goes into Dr. Fuller's office. But rest assured, I'll tell him you came by.
That won't be necessary. Thank you.
I will tell him, nonetheless. Wait a minute. Where do you think you're going?
Oh my god, bitch.
Dr. Colden.
Mrs. Donovan.
No,
But
but
that-
I will.
You're a bitch. Distract Donovan, cut off the water. I can't go in
The
here.
operating room is never accessible after an operation.
Distract Donovan, cut off water. Cut off the water. There's probably nothing in here that'll actually help me cut off the water.
Patients and hospital personnel eat the same food.
This is so retarded. I have to do all of this stuff. Like, oh, come on, really.
Watch out for the water, Doctor.
How do I go about cutting the water off? Jeez, this is annoying, guys. This really is, like... You can't just knock people out. Miss that aspect of the game.
The door to the boiler room is locked. I have to get the key if I wish to get rid of Donovan.
Where is the key to the boiler room, then? Is it in the pharmacy?
We're running out of this medicine.
I know, Doctor. We sent the purchase order, though, but Mrs. Donovan refused it.
Once again.
Can't you do anything?
Donovan takes her instructions directly from Dr. Fuller. I'm afraid I can do nothing about it for the moment.
Break her neck, damn.
We've been waiting to be restocked for weeks.
Okay, so is any of this necessary for me, or am I literally just walking around in a shitfest?
The doses prescribed by Fuller are far too high.
I don't need any of that. What I need is a boiler key. That's what I need.
Everybody says it. She's a witch, an old hag. I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays.
I don't even know
What a pest.
where I would
It's
shut
so
the water off.
unfair.
Get out of my way.
It's temperamental, if I understand correctly.
Okay. I gotta go in the boiler room. I know this. Yeah, just gotta get the key. Where's the key located? Who the hell knows?
Don't go falling over. That would be stupid.
God dang. This game, once again. There was no reason for me to go through this door.
This place draws you in and never lets you go.
Oh my god. I seriously...
Everybody says it.
She's just gonna freaking... She's just gonna stand there and just stare in his room? She's that big of a kiss ass that she has to do that? Interesting.
The operating room is never accessible after an operation.
Oh my lord in heaven? This is crap.
Dr. Colden?
Hello, Betty. I'm looking for the key to the boiler room.
Thank you.
What for?
To put it in its place. Perhaps I should do the same with you.
I beg your pardon?
I suspect you of having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. But be warned, it could easily be you they will all be laughing at tomorrow.
You are right, Doctor. The key is in the dormitory office in Block B.
Thank you. I shall go fetch it.
Why am I crouching? Dormitory B, Block A. Where the hell is Block B? Surgical ward. Where is Block B? Block B. God dang, this game. Pissing me off. Cool, I got the
key to the boiler room. All I have to do is shut off the water and hope Donovan takes the bait.
Me too. That's exactly how I feel when playing this game.
Everybody says it. She's a witch, an old hag.
Everybody says it. You're annoying. You won't shut up.
I can't shut this with my bare hands. I need a tool.
Jesus Christ. Let me guess. I gotta go all the way back to the friggin', what is it, storage room? Try to find a tool. There's not gonna be one in here. Guys, I am not having a good time at all. What is the tool that I need to shut the damn water off? I need one of those. That's what I need.
Everybody says
That's what I need.
she's a witch.
Shut up. Dang, everybody says it. She's a witch. Just shut up. I'm so over this.
I feel guilty about Elizabeth, but I need the diversion.
Okay, I gotta go back to this dumb bitch. The one that won't stop complaining. God, I hate this game. I really do. I hate this game.
Dr. Colden, might there be a problem with the water?
I was about to mention it. It seems it's been cut off yet again.
I can't take this, Marie. I feel I'm gonna burst.
It's not your fault if we have defective plumbing.
And yet, I'm the one who gets punished because I'm gonna have to square off with that annoying old witch. Courage, Elizabeth. Here we go. And hold your tongue this time.
It's temperamental, if I understand correctly.
Where are you going? Okay.
At last. The missing files must be hidden here. Something is wrong with these masts. It's some sort of puzzle. I've unlocked something.
That was it?
Patient files. I was right.
That was it? I went through all of that for that? You shitting me?
Conclusions. Session number 17.
Okay, die.
Patient? Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, Sarah Hawkins is the
The
patient
patient
because she's
appears to have
utterly
finally
and totally
accepted the illusory
fucked up.
nature of what she calls the mythos. It goes without saying that
This
these
finger
peculiar
belonged to a
illusions
woman.
are the price
Why
that
keep it
comes
here?
with her exceptional gifts.
Who cares? She has a bunch of gifts. She's fucked up. Who cares? I'm done.
Why does Dr. Fuller write psychological reports about Sarah Hawkins?
Because she's crazy.
First, I presumed that her blood was the key. But I found nothing to explain Mrs. Hawkins' abilities.
Why is Ethan on medication?
Because he's weird and messed up, too.
The poor souls downstairs are not Fuller's only subjects.
Then James came, irate that Charles was keeping secrets from him.
Okay.
I presume that he will try to break into the basement sooner or later.
Okay.
I am prepared.
Good for you. Glad you're prepared.
Hawkins, Fitzroy, and Fuller. What is the connection between these three?
It is fortunate that I had the presence of mind to set the morgue in the basement. When all the fuss about the Hawkins incident finally comes to an end, I will dispose of her belongings. In the meantime, they must remain hidden in plain sight.
Found everything I needed to. Anything else? Anything else we want to talk about? Before I break my computer, because this game is a piece of shit, and I hate it. Is there anything else in this old hag's office?
Of course. Sarah Hawkins is the connection. I must go back to the basement.
No, you don't. I really don't.
I should go another way.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna leave this episode here. I am exhausted from playing this game for 3 hours straight. I cannot keep playing this. This is not one of these games that I can keep playing and have fun with. This is not Vampire. So anyways, if you guys like that, make sure to leave a like down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share with a friend. Show them my misery that is this game. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, it's fun, but I don't know. It's definitely no Vampire. It really isn't. So, thank you everybody so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.